Hello, everyone. It's time for Streaming Wars. I'm Captain Logan. There's DJ Martinez, and this is just our second episode on Streaming Wars. What we do on this program is we watch movies with you live, sometimes stuff that I've seen, sometimes stuff that DJ's seen. We pick something that is available on some streaming service that we assume a lot of folks have access to. Last time we did something on Disney Plus, where I watched the live-action Lion King for the first time. DJ had already seen it. This time, we're going to do another movie that only DJ has seen, and it was my turn to pick, and you'd think I would pick a thing that I know that DJ wasn't, but I've been curious. For whatever reason, this movie has been coming up a lot lately, and I need to finally just sit down and watch it. Now, I could have done that, but instead of doing that, I thought, in the hopes that there would be some kind of interesting material, and this would somehow be fun for people to make a reaction video, and I'm gonna watch Clockstoppers for the first time. DJ knows this movie, so hopefully he can fill in a little bit, just like he did with Lion King. How long has it been since you've seen this movie, DJ?
Ooh, probably a long time. What is this? This is '02. I probably saw it a couple times on video after it was out, so it's probably been a good 16 years, 15 years.
Okay, so, I mean, but you'll at least know, something. It'd be easier if you knew this like the back of your hand, but I wouldn't expect that for something like
Well, I remember
Clockstoppers.
movies way better back then.
Okay.
Like, movies I saw as a kid, for some reason, I remember way better than movies I saw, like, last year.
That makes a lot of sense,
I don't know,
Your
something
brain
about
is
when you're
more...
a kid, you just, like, burn it in your mind.
Your brain's more malleable at the time, so I mean, like that's when you're supposed to be learning all the fundamentals because your brain soaks up a lot more. So it does make sense that you'd, and also just things that make an impression on you during your formative years. Versus, I've seen 1,000 time travel movies now. This one is not necessarily going to stick. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Well, at least it's not time travel, so that's good. It's a little different.
I mean, I know it's not like traveling through time, but it's in the ballpark. It's I know three things about this movie. I know that it's like a teen thing because the cast is like teenagers, and I know four things. I know French Stewart is in this movie. I don't know why French Stewart is in this, but I know that. I know that it's directed by Jonathan Frakes, which is the only reason I really care. I just wanted to see what his directorial debut post Star Trek was. Really weird that it took this long for him to finally get a project. We'll talk about that. I don't know why that happened. And the other thing I know is that it's about people stopping time, because it's pretty. It's a title that kind of tells you what it is. So yeah, it's a pretty descriptive title.
You could know by looking at the poster.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so thanks a lot for being here live. If you're doing that, we are shooting these commentaries live. That is partly since they're half blind, so that folks can chat with us and we can kind of take advantage of you guys for the sake of material. So we really appreciate that. Thanks a bunch. We really appreciate everybody just watching us talk at you. But more of the point of an audience on live shows is so that we don't have to ever prepare anything. It's for the sake of our being able to be completely lazy, and in this case, sort of like a mania, like the Marvel manias and the Batmanias, we can be really super lazy, where the whole point is to not have any preparation at all. Hopefully it's entertaining and a lot of fun, but you guys are awesome for being... I'm surprised there's any audience for this at all, so thanks a bunch for hanging out with us.
I would say this even more so than a mania. This show is kind of just like it's kind of like a live show where we're chatting with you guys.
Well, it is a live show. We're live right now.
Yeah, it's just like while we're watching something, if you guys want to talk to us about something. I mean, don't get us way off track, but I mean, if you have a question or whatever, you can hit me in the chat. I'll be watching it as we're talking. I know Cap's going to be watching a little closer because he hasn't seen this before, but I'll have it open if you want to talk about anything. We're here. We're just hanging out. We're watching a 18-year-old movie.
Hour and a half long movie. Yep, this will be pretty chill, as the kids say. So,
HBO Max and chill, as they call it.
Right, yeah. I'm sure that's really taking off. I am positive, by the way, that this streaming service is not doing as well as HBO was over, or that AT&T and Warner's were hoping that it would. It can't possibly be. So we'll do a few HBO Max things while this streaming service is still available.
I've been watching the crap out of it, man. I don't know.
There's a lot of good stuff on it.
Yeah, like the Turner Classic section, and I've told you I've been going through the the Studio Ghibli movies with my son, because I haven't seen any of those. So I've been loving this streaming service, and I'll have it as long as it lasts, or at least until the price goes back up to 15, because I think I'm at 12.
But I think the issue for people, and we've talked about this, is not very much in the way of new original content, confusing branding, and a not great interface. Those three things are kind of hurting it. So far, I have been enjoying it myself too, but
I will say I'm like you have this background on here, and I'm like filling in the Amazon section. You should have wore a green shirt for the Hulu section.
Oh man. Yeah, but I had no way to know that that's where the line was going to fall. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Like DJ said, and thanks a bunch for mentioning that, DJ, these are essentially the streaming wars and also the mystery commentaries, though we haven't done one of those in a while, are kind of like Captain Logan shows with a movie going on in the background. We are going to watch the movie, we're going to talk about the movie, but if there's anything tangentially related or otherwise that you just want to throw out, we are happy to talk about some other things. I don't like to do a lot of news on this show, though, because I can't, really take the time to respond to anything major that's going on. So I can touch on a thing, but we'll do more of those sorts of really timely things on Thursday on the Captain Logan show. But, fun, random, geeky things, totally acceptable. Everybody ready? Let's go ahead and get into it. Usually I say get it to timestamp 0. This time, if you're watching on HBO Max, I'm going to ask you to get it to timestamp 006 to get it past the HBO logo. I really hate that they put that on the beginning of these movies. It makes it difficult to sync up with, because I need streaming services to do everything that just for me that I need them to. They should be keeping in mind people who are making commentaries on the internet. Okay, that should be the first and foremost thing of importance on their minds when they put something on a streaming service. But anyway, if just in case somebody happens to have the DVD and is watching it that way, I want to make sure that they can sync with us. So 006 timestamp 6 seconds is where I need everybody to be. So just watch that little opening logo and then pause it. And I'll give everybody just a couple of seconds to do that. Utali, how many people will show up to this? I mean, I didn't figure very many, but we've got about 20 people at the moment. So
tonight.
Yeah,
we got a good number.
I'm surprised there's anybody here. So you guys are awesome. But yeah, I want to do some fun, random things like this every now and again. All right, here we go. Is everybody ready? We're gonna watch a movie I don't know. Everybody, please press play. Make sure that you're at timestamp 006 if you're watching it on HBO Max, timestamp 0 if you're watching any other way. And here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. So, Frakes directs...
The Paramount logo.
Yep. And, of course, Paramount is the company that makes Star Trek, so he's in their stable, Jonathan Frakes. He directs Star Trek First Contact. It is an unbelievable success for Star Trek. It's at the time, I want to say, second highest grossing Star Trek film next to Star Trek 4. And immediately he starts doing interviews. I read one just the other day in one of the new magazines that I bought in the big Star Trek collection I got recently, where he's talking about all the offers that he's getting for movies to direct. And he's looking for just the right thing. He's comparing himself to Leonard Nimoy, who is in a really similar situation where he directs a Star Trek movie, and then right after that he gets 3 Men and a Baby, which was a popular comedy and a really off the beaten path sort of thing that has nothing to do with Star Trek or science fiction or anything. This is sort of Frakes' 3 Men and a Baby. It is a science fiction thing, but it's also a comedy. It's for a different kind of audience. But what's weird is, after Star Trek 3, I may have misspoke and said 2 a minute ago. After Leonard Nimoy gets Star Trek 3, he does 3 Men and a Baby very quickly. Frakes doesn't do this until 02, and First Contact was 96, and Insurrection was 98. He also directed that, and he got nothing in the interim, which is very surprising, because when he says Hollywood was courting him, I tend to believe that. So I don't know why he never maybe he just didn't like any of the scripts coming his way, because he was being diplomatic. Maybe he kept saying, I love a lot of things I'm getting, but I just haven't found the right project yet, and this is what he picked. I mean, maybe this ends up being great, but it's just a really weird choice.
I mean, if it says anything, I thought this was a TV movie my entire life.
Yeah.
and I saw it as a kid, so I didn't know this actually went to theaters. until we
And I
talked about it
remember
last
the
week.
I remember the trailers kind of looking TV movie-esque, and I think a lot of what Nickelodeon was doing was that way. I mean, I want to say Nickelodeon's first movie was Good Burger. Could be wrong about that. They may have had something before that, but I think so. I'm sure this is going to be budgetary on the same level as that. It probably has about that kind of budget. So like $19 would be my guess.
Now, this is the actor you mentioned at the beginning, right?
Is this French Stewart? Well, he's wearing this big crazy beard, so I don't know yet, but...
He's in disguise.
Well, that makes sense, because he just played a couple of years before this Inspector Gadget, so it's not surprising that he's in these kinds of, goofy, over-the-top kids movies.
Oh, yeah, when was Inspector Gadget 2?
That's right. He wasn't, and I knew that he wasn't the first one. He was in that second one. But that was right around this, just before, just after.
Time. And he was in Home Alone 4 right around this.
He did a lot of those
goofy,
silly, not so great direct-to-video kids movies.
Yeah, sequels.
But I feel like French Stewart did a whole lot of kids stuff.
Yeah, but he always plays like the angry guy in kids movies. He seems. I mean, I know it's his character, but he always seems like he doesn't want to be in the kids' movies when he's in kids' movies. Which
is strange. You'd think he'd get typecast as a character like what he played on Third Rock. And he's a lot of fun in Third Rock. I actually like French Stewart quite a bit, but he doesn't do anything great after that, as far as I am aware.
I remember him playing a principal or a teacher in some other kids' show that I used to watch. I don't remember what it was. Oh! Now, I bet you that technology won't be explained.
So nothing about this is immediately grabbing me or engaging me. Just right at the beginning. It's
I didn't want to crush your spirit when you seemed excited to watch this, but I was like, really?
Well, I had heard people, at least back in the day, say that it was kind of fun. It was okay. I didn't know that it was gonna be very, right away kind of B-movie kids spy thing. Like, this is immediately in that Spy Kids category.
Yeah, it's like that Alex Rider.
It feels like.
I never saw that. And this is the very first time I ever heard of Blink-182, which is one of my wife's favorites.
Interesting. I like Blink-182, okay.
Yeah, she actually had tickets to see them. Oh, no, that was Dashboard Confessional. Never mind. But yeah, she's a huge fan of all that emo stuff from the early 2000s.
Oh, and this is their big song. For a second, I thought this was just some Blink-182 song. No, this is the Blink... So we're doing the Smallville thing right at the gate. We're making whatever was the huge song on the radio right now. That's what we're listening to.
And I watched the trailer.
Say it ain't so, I'll not go. Turn the light off. Play with Legos. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
I watched this, I remember feeling really, cool and bad when I was a kid singing the part where it says work sucks.
Work sucks! I know. That is an edgy line, you're right. Wow, look at that old Royal typewriter.
For a little 9-year-old kid, it was for me. Yeah, he's an eBay guy. You like this?
And look at the look at his iMac.
And
he
then
has
write, a very flowery
exactly
description and sell like a piece of junk.
This is hilarious. He has almost exactly Chloe Sullivan set up in Smallville. Like, I'm seeing so much Smallville right now. He's got the same almost the same computer that she has. Except those came in a variety of fun, kitschy colors, and Chloe's was pink or purple or something. I never had one of those iMacs. I was a Mac guy at the time, so I had I forget what. I mean, it was OS 10. I know that, but it wasn't one of those all together built-in things. It was a separate CPU and monitor, but it was a Mac monitor.
It's probably the exact same car that Tobey Maguire was looking at. This is also 02.
Yeah, this is right at that's right at that same time. Frakes, what are you doing? Why are you making this movie? And see, I feel like Frakes could have gotten into blockbusters, and what he ends up getting instead is a movie that looks like a glorified TV movie, just like we keep saying, and most of his credits are on television as a director. So he starts directing in TNG, and then he discovers a love for that, and his TV directing catalog, it like chokes a horse. He's done so much TV work, and like just go look at his list. He's directed an episode of everything, and it's like he can't get out of that mode, so he's just only allowed to make things that are like television. It's weird, but he's done a lot of cinematic type television.
Daniel Davis just says he follows it up with Thunderbirds. Is that true?
He also made Thunderbirds. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that too as a kid. That had Vanessa Hudgens.
That's
in it,
the
like
only
Vanessa Hudgens.
That's the only other.
And it's a superhero thing.
Yeah, does that count as a superhero movie? Do I have to review that? That is, I think, the only other theatrically released movie that he does.
Jeez. Dude, I'm getting super bad Flubber vibes right now.
Yes.
From our last commentary. I'm
Me
getting
too.
unnerved by it.
So are you getting that vibe in what we're watching or the way we're approaching the commentary?
No, literally what we're seeing reminds me of Robin Williams and Flubber. But also...
Bag says that's not what a word processor is. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, that's what he was doing. He wrote typewriter first, and then he like spruced it up so that people would actually buy it, even though it was a piece of junk.
Oh, is that what? Okay.
So that it was teaching you that he's like a guy who can talk himself out of stuff, and he's good with words. You got to grab the characterization where you can, because it's not gonna
be real thick, probably. Yeah. You know, maybe the guy would respond to you right away if you didn't try to give him a cute nickname. Maybe if you said his whole name instead of Jer, he would respond. You know, like every time QT Labs, so they work at Quick Trip Labs.
Yeah, they're big competitor Racetrack Labs. right across the street. I don't know if you have racetracks there, but we do.
No, I know what that is, though. I mean, I've been around the country enough to know, yeah.
So this is his dad. He's a professor. He kind of looks like my dad.
Oh, yeah? And is that his predominant character trait? He is a professor? And that's his character trait?
He'll be in the movie more than you probably think. Yeah, I remember so much about this. It's so weird. It's so weird how much you remember about these things that you watch a lot when you're a kid. I don't even know if I watched a lot.
Moving forward, if we keep doing very many of these Streaming Wars episodes, some of the picks that I want to go to are movies that I saw a million times as a kid but haven't seen in 20 years.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And see just how much stuff I remember. I am definitely going to go to Angels of the Outfield at some point, because I've not seen that in 25 years.
I've only seen that once, and I think I was probably a little later. I was like 12 or 13.
So we'll definitely do that.
Oh, one of the ones I really want to do is Sky High. I know you've only seen that once, but that's on here.
And that one I might watch again before we do it, just because I have done a rewind on that. It would be kind of weird if I was like, I don't remember anything about this movie. I know I remember liking that movie a lot. Okay, so a lot of forced like teen-esque dialogue, trying to get the lingo right.
Yesterday, this is the most 2000s, early 2000s movie trailer ever. It's so 2000s. Oh, is this rock climbing, or this is cool? At least this is like a fun setting. You don't see this setting very much. You usually see like a skateboard place or like a roller skating rink or something obvious. This is cool. It's like a...
Although I will say paintball is also very early 2000s.
Yeah. No, but the girl's a rock climber.
Wait, you're going to get faced? What does that mean? What does it mean to get faced?
That's 2000.
Hey, you're going to get faced! Oh, all right. How ahead are you right now? Because you said rock climbing, and I just got to rock climbing.
I already saw her holding the thing in her hand.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. That's cool.
Because I've been to one of these places.
And awesome. Acting! I always felt like those rock climbing walls looked like a giant ate a lot, or chewed a lot of gum and then stuck it everywhere.
Yeah, the different colors are for different courses, different tracks you can take.
I have done that one time, and it took me like 2 days to recover because I was not in the best of shape.
Yeah, it's exhausting. You don't realize it when you're doing it.
And I loved it, but I was like, oh, I should have trained a day or two before I went rock climbing. Like, my joints were not ready for that. Oh, she reads Cosmo, does she?
Roasted him.
Oh. Okay, so she's cultured then. Right.
She's a rock climber. She's cultured. Look at this.
There is nothing
league, man.
generic about
Out of your league, hoodie guy.
these kids at all. Okay, so DJ, I'm gonna say it. For just a regular, sci-fi, even like a thing that's aimed at kids, just for like a regular sci-fi movie, this is reading really generic and dull, and I don't care. If this was a Power Rangers pilot, it's okay so far.
Hey, this could be the Ninja Storm pilot, because they're like all into extreme sports and stuff.
That girl and her hair also looks like something out of a Power Rangers pilot. Just everything about it. Man, if only Frakes had... Could you imagine? I mean, I know you don't know anything about Star Trek, and you know a lot about Jonathan Frakes, but I'm imagining right now Frakes show-running Power Rangers and how epic that would be.
Oh, is that Pepsi 1?
That would be spectacular. That is Pepsi 1.
Or was that just Diet? I can't tell, but...
I think it was.
That would cement this.
Have I told you lately how much I respect and admire you?
If anything, this will bring back early 2000 memories for us.
So, DJ, I keep getting kind of distracted wanting to read comments, but I need to focus on this. So don't forget to look at comments occasionally.
Well,
I gotta quit doing that.
Said that QT Labs stands for Quantum Tech. He also said
no, it doesn't. It stands for Quick Trip.
That it would be called Power Rangers Hyper Time, which is
that is
cool, but also dangerously close to another.
It's Hyper Force and
Time Force.
Time Force.
Hey, that's what they're doing these days, is just mashing two seasons together.
That's what we're about to do with the horribly generically titled Dino Charge. No, Dino Charge we did already. Dino Fury, right? Yeah. That's the next one. It's the Power Rangers, Dino Fury, Dino Fury.
Oh, I know this.
I want them to just have the same theme song that Jungle Fury had, but with Dino in it.
Do a mashup of
Dino
Thunder and
oh, that would be amazing! Dino Rangers roar, and then it's like Dino Fury.
Crazy, because Dino, like that's the Dino Thunder song, but the Jungle Fury song is like a pop. Like a really poppy song, so if they could do that, that'd be crazy.
No, I know. I just mashed him because then I sang the Jungle Fury. I know the Jungle Fury song.
Okay.
I was just doing it. Because we're the Power Rangers, Jungle Fury, Jungle Fury. Like, I was just doing it. That's that song.
Ugh. Whiny teenagers.
Wow, good one. Burn. He just said, tell it to Doppler. Burn.
I think, yeah, isn't that just like his friend?
Oh, okay. I thought he was doing like a nerdy science joke thing, like Doppler radar or something. I don't know. Is that a person's name?
Kids do.
Okay. Boy, this is just.
Wow, everyone's singing the the Power Rangers song on the credits now.
Did you do your chores?
Good Lord, their hairstyling, Daniel Davis says. Yes.
Yeah. And when you're in any particular era, you're not thinking about how dated, like you can't even imagine that at some point the hairstyles and fashion is going to feel dated later. And I think more and more we're starting to like genericify all of that to where we're just getting to like kind of down to I don't know if at least common denominator is the right word, but I feel like we're in a place right now where 10 years from now everything's probably going to look about like it does right now. I could be wrong about that, but like coming right off of the 90s, it's like we're trying to force an evolution of fashion and hairstyles and makeup and stuff, so that like now we're modern and into the 21st century and out of the 90s. But we're not really out of it. Like, by trying too hard to get out of the 90s, we are still very much rooted in the 90s, I feel like.
Yeah. But that's always, like, it's all what you think of the decade is always, like, the extremes of the decade of, like, what people in movies and everything are wearing. So, like, normal people in the 60s weren't wearing, like, nothing but tie-dye and, like, headbands and stuff in the 70s. But, I mean, you had a little bit of that, but you always think of a decade as much more extreme with the clothing than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's truth to that. I also think that what was considered normal is still very different from what's considered normal now. Yeah, if you go back and you just watch, like, news, like, not even movies. If you just go back and watch news broadcasts or documentaries or whatever, in the 70s, you're going to see a lot of really drab, boring, like weird color schemes. and the grays and the like kind of puke yellows and stuff, and then you get into the 80s and it does get wilder. You do end up with like mismatched colored suits and stuff, and then that kind of bleeds in the 90s, and it is true that every woman in the 90s had a big perm. My mom had that, the glamour shots thing.
Yeah, I don't get that. And I don't get, speaking of current ones, like the 2004, like right after this, like 2004, 2005, the like Zack and Cody Harry Potter Goblet of Fire hair, where it was just like they just literally had a mop on their head. How did we not think that was going to look terrible in a couple of years?
We're always just in the now. Okay, so he's got a sand timer on his desk, and I just want to think that like when that runs out, this guy has to leave. Like the meeting is over. But I don't think he's even using the sand timer, the hourglass. I think he just has it there. You think if you're going to have that prop, you'd be using it.
I would like to know the history of this, because what do you think the chances that this was shot for Nickelodeon TV and then like they were able to sell it to Paramount and just put it in theaters?
I wouldn't have thought that Frakes would pick a TV project.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, he was a TV director, but I mean, he always talked about. But maybe he would just say this in interviews. But like, he always acted like it was like, finally I'm doing another big screen movie. Like,
we actually have that now, and it doesn't. No, I think. Cool.
I think you're probably. I think there's a likelihood that you're right. that he actually indeed shot this for TV and they just released it. But I don't know.
We'll see when we get to the special effects. I remember it looking super cool. I don't know how it's going to look now when the time actually freezes.
I have been waiting for this movie to start for the last 20 minutes. And I mean, I know we've been talking over whatever little character establishing and development there is, but man, everything about this is a Power Rangers pilot so far. Even the music cues when we walked into this room. So, like, this has a lot in common with the Power Rangers pilot, but also the 95 Power Rangers movie. I'm getting a lot of vibes.
Yeah, especially this room.
Yeah.
It looks like they just got the leftover parts from the command center.
So this guy I know from something.
Generic evil TV villain.
Yes.
He was probably from like 24 or something.
Possibly. Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, he's looking really jerk-facey, particularly because of the soul patch. That is not working on that guy.
They probably made him grow that. You don't look evil enough.
There's French Stewart. It's like I got a crappy makeup job that tried to make me look like I'd aged 20 years. If you just built it right in the first place, science man, then that wouldn't have happened to you.
That's totally this guy, too. He doesn't know anything. He's just like, make it work so I can do evil stuff.
Yeah, he's very poor man's Lex Luthor in that way where he just points at, look, you look, I hired you to be a scientist, so make anything happen that I tell you to. You wouldn't just look old. You would age rapidly and die faster. That'd be different. Now, can you use it?
Well, then I guess I'm going to have to kill you. There's a line from every movie.
Wouldn't you think... Yes, all this is very typical so far. Wouldn't you think... And also very forced comedy. Like, this guy is supposed to be really intimidating right now, and then we do weird comedic beats. Like having these two like look back and forth between them, like that immediately undercuts any sense of like drama or suspense in the scene. If there's not any of that, but if there was, why are we watching this movie?
Dude, this is 2 weeks in a row that you have picked something and said, why are we watching this?
In my defense, the first one was in a list of things and I didn't think it would get picked.
No, I'm talking about the first Streaming Wars when you picked Lion King.
Lion King. That was worth doing.
Yeah, that was at least a fun exercise.
Done. Okay, so the first thing I would be asking that guy is there any chance of reversing it, of going backwards? Like, because it sounds... Okay, so it's not time travel, but if you can make people age rapidly, it is like your body is like moving through time really fast, right? So you'd have to wonder if there's a way to flip that back so that you could make yourself younger.
It's actually it's very unrelated to time as a concept at all. It doesn't really get into that. They'll explain later. All it is it makes your personal molecules move faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not stopping time at all. It's not like walls. I thought it would be like walls of time.
It seems like they're standing still because you're moving so fast is what it is.
Okay, so it's not pockets of space-time or anything like that. So we're not dealing with quantum theory at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
As he finds it out.
Okay, but then that adds more.
Bullies, my goodness.
That's amazing. That guy is 35 years old and going to high school.
He's just lucky because he's short. So
but yeah, that adds more credence to my theory that if you can manipulate the molecules, then you got to be looking into whether or not you could reverse it. Now I don't know if the movie maybe does that later. I'm expecting French Stewart to become a baby at some point.
like the 90s episode with Tombstone, or what's that guy's name?
Yes. Somebody just said that I've got to get my priorities straight. Do you mean in my picks for movies? I mean, I don't know. I'm just picking stuff I haven't seen that I've been sort of curious about. Next time I'll pick something DJ hasn't seen.
Why does that guy have a binky around his neck? Or a pacifier, whatever you call it. His best friend has a pacifier.
I feel like that was like a dumb thing that I've seen in other TV shows and things. I mean, everything's going to be related to TV shows with this. When I was younger, we were like, was that a bully thing? I don't know if in real life it was, but just this sort of like...
trash cans ever a thing? I feel like TVs make metal trash cans everywhere, but I rarely ever see those. More
on like sidewalks in cities, right? Or at least that's also what movies and TV led me to believe. Like those were all over in Sesame Street.
Yeah, it's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Those things are everywhere. But I always just see like plastic bin things.
I mean, I have seen those in places, certainly. We're talking about this now. Boy, I'd like to apologize for wasting everybody's time, I think.
We still have 21 people watching.
Why are we doing this?
Cap likes to see what we can do as a live show to get 0 views, as he always says.
Yeah, I'm looking for the video that'll get 0 views. I couldn't even make a video that said don't watch this and get 0 views, so...
Oh, I missed it. How did he get her address?
But I mean, if you haven't seen a thing and you're looking for something that's going to be kind of riff-worthy and silly and weird, like these are the kinds of things you go to, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't mind. I'm just worried. How are you guys feeling in the chat?
Oh, of course. This song was in Smallville. It was also real big on the radio right then.
Why does he have a fender on his bike?
And this would have been in Smallville right before or right after this movie, because I don't know what month this comes out in 02. I'm assuming this was released in the summer. That's what I remember, but I don't know if that's the case. So this should have been out right after the first season, and this song does play in that first season. Ooh!
Oh, is she rich? Oh, yes, she's very rich. Her house looks like a chapel.
Beck says, it's not out of the question to just stop the movie and do something else. We made a logo, though. We made a thumbnail. It says it in the title. We have to change the title in the middle of the stream.
We just got 3 more viewers, so, I mean, maybe we're doing something right. What is she actually... Man, she goes hardcore into cleaning. She gets out rubber gloves to rake the leaves.
So we're getting those singular prevailing character traits. So she is Trini for Mighty Morphin. She's just obsessed with the environment, I'm assuming.
Did you do that? I always did that with a broom when I was a kid.
I was never good enough at balancing things, so no, but...
Always do that. Just,
I couldn't pick up a basketball without trying to do the spin on one finger thing, though.
Yeah.
I did always do that.
Oh. He's Mr. See, he's...
When is it going to be morphin
ingenuitive.
Time? It really needs to finally be morphin time. Did that lawnmower have duct tape all over it? Did I see that right?
He just rigged it up. So remember, he's an inventor. He's like a thinking on his feet kind of guy.
I see. Okay, I'm gonna need you to explain what's happening in this movie because I don't care. I'm so not invested right now. I'm trying to make this enjoyable for people, so I'm just going to continue to say whatever comes to my brain while not really paying attention to this, thereby defeating the entire purpose of talking over a movie while streaming. I don't know why we do this.
So,
what do you guys want to talk about? Anybody want to talk about something?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Super chats, anyone? Let's please give us questions to answer.
No, we're gonna watch this, man. Dude, that would take 6 seconds to pick up. Why are you freaking out and kicking everything? Oh my god, you knocked over a trash can and 5 things fell out, none of which are gross or smelly looking. Oh no, plastic! Instantly unlikable, this girl. Do not care what happens to her now.
He did get the watch that his dad had earlier.
Okay, and so he's gonna start clock stopping?
Yeah, he doesn't know what it is. He thinks it's just a watch, but he picked it up. Because it looks exactly like a sports watch from 2002.
Okay, so this premise is dumb. Well, see, it's a quick trip watch. This premise is dumb, because if it's not space-time, it's kind of silly that it's a clock. That it's a watch. Where it's like, that's too cutesy to me. Again, unless it was the pilot for like a half-hour kid show, and then it's fine. But like
100%, if this was made today, it would be a stepper. It would be a Fitbit or a Apple Watch, because that literally has to do with like your body and stuff.
I guess my complaint, maybe this isn't fair, is just what would have got me to go to the theater to see this. I'm glad I didn't, by the way. Is oh cool, like watches that actually stop time, that mess with space time, not slow down your own personal.
Yeah.
And that just makes it, in my mind, kind of silly that it's a watch. I don't know if that's fair, but it's my knee-jerk impression. That thing is huge.
It's a big possum. Have you ever interacted with a possum?
No, I haven't.
Them from like a distance.
If I did interact with a possum, it probably wouldn't be the way they're interacting with a possum. I don't think I would be trying to spray it with a hose.
What?
No, you weren't having a good time. You were screaming because of plastic coming out of trash cans. Oh my god, you guys are whiny brats.
We were gonna go swimming.
Yeah, that looks as good as it did in Heroes. No, that is fine.
Yeah. I mean, she's just standing there, and that's just like, that's pretty decent computer-generated water, though.
It's all right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this looking, I mean, I thought it looked cool as a kid, but that doesn't mean anything.
So this is yet another, The Matrix came out, and pausing stuff on screen and moving around them while they ought to be moving but aren't is cool.
Yeah, this Clockstoppers used to be my favorite movie until Cap showed me The Matrix, and he broke everything.
It was like coming out of The Matrix for DJ. It was a shattering disillusionment. So, if this was Power Rangers, this kid would be the Red Ranger, and she would be the purple-pink Ranger.
She'd be the Ivan Ooze Ranger.
I kind of like that top, though. It's got like a galaxy on it. Looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that would be back.
Ooh, I like the rainbow effect. That looks good.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And the coolest thing is that because it's not completely stopped, you'll see that like things are still moving very slowly.
Just like so what we're doing here is we're making an entire movie out of bullet time. And I know I just said The Matrix, but like we were doing this a lot in TV right then. Like we've constantly got to do bullet time with Clark in Smallville. I was always counting that on Counting Crypto Freaks. Heroes is going to do that a few years after this. That's Heroes' power. He's able to stop time. It actually is a space-time thing. In that, Spider-Man does it. I think Spider-Man does it in both of those first two movies, maybe. But I'm reminded of that hallway scene. Do you remember that with the guy with the spit wad and like everything slows down on the hallway?
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous. At least they were showing the spider sense, so it was kind of had a purpose, and it wasn't just cool.
Yeah, well, you can say the same thing about Smallville, though. It's like, oh, he's running fast so he can experience time differently, but, like, it's just an excuse to do that effect. And it was always stupid in Smallville because Superman shouldn't be able to go that fast. Like, he's way too powerful if he can experience time the way Flash experiences time.
Yeah.
I think, and then...
Well, that's how they do it in the DCEU, too. Like, when Flash, in Justice League, when Flash, like, is running at him and he turns and looks at him, like, in hyper time.
Well, and they do that in the Flash TV show also. Like, anything that does people running fast now, they have to do it that way. Yeah, none of this looks all that bad.
It's pretty cool.
It is smart to do kind of, like, you know, a minimal effect thing, so they haven't tried to do anything huge yet. It's all just like this all looks more spectacular because we haven't attempted like a crazy car chase yet, or like a shootout, or oh, so you get it because it's about stopping time. So she had to say it's about time. This hyper time thing, I cannot get off this point. You just keep saying hyper time, and I'm like, it's a Power Ranger show. Like, it just is. Except paced even slower than a pilot for that would be.
Well,
no, that's
did he
what.
Just say with power comes awesome responsibility.
That is what he said, and then he said that's what my dad would say. Well, he must have read a lot of Spider-Man comics because he ripped that off.
I hate that became such a huge thing in this time period.
Yeah, although if you go back into the 90s, you'll hear it in things. Like, it was already, you know, kind of running around, and because the thing is, it's a sentiment. Stan Lee encapsulated that so well in a few words and articulated it in a way that it hadn't been before, that it becomes very difficult to get away from it. Like, if you want to make that point or have that message in your thing, you have to come up with some other way to say it. Then with great power comes great responsibility. But, like, how else do you say it? Like, it's really difficult to dance around it, and we've seen Spider-Man things try to dance around it and say it in some other way.
And it's also, like, if you just say it and don't, I feel like people feel like if they say it and don't draw attention to it, they would get in trouble, or like people would call them out, so they always draw attention to it. Like, it's always a saying in whatever universe the people are saying it in.
There's no way whatsoever that that what that guy was doing on that wall was like Picasso. Party man, party man.
Wait, what are they doing? I don't know what those guys are doing wrong. Did they just buy his car that he wanted?
Now she's quoting Star Trek because it's Frakes.
TH1 gave us a $2 super chat, and he said, "Oh, good, I didn't miss the Star Trek reference." So I'm guessing that's what he was talking about.
There's the Star Trek reference. I'm sure Tom loves this movie because Tom also loves Flubber, and we're getting some Flubber flashbacks watching this.
So hey, this is kind of a superhero movie. They're going around and
they're stopping crimes by stopping time.
Wrongdoers.
Yeah. So I guess they're supposed to be sort of endearing because the first thing they think to do is go help people.
Well, they just like
that's cool.
They just like
I guess
ruined people's days that they didn't like. They didn't really help anyone.
Oh, it's just
they just like
okay. Well, when you say, because that was the thing is I thought they were just pranking people at first.
Well, it was like a guy was trying to steal a bike, and they just like put his nose ring through the bike spokes.
Okay.
And the guy was spray painting, so they like stabbed his paint can, blasted him in the face. There's a little bit of both. Although the woman was giving people tickets, which is a good thing, and they had a dog pee on her truck.
I don't know why I didn't expect this to be as much of the typical, teen genre drama of the early 2000s as it is, but like it's exactly like everything we were watching in that period, except a little worse than most of what I was watching. Even like I would definitely rather be watching Smallville right now. Maybe not certain episodes.
So we're 36 minutes in.
Yeah.
And TH1 gives us another $2 super chat.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
He says, "I'm home. How is Cap liking it?" So here's your perfect opportunity to give us a status update. I think you just did.
Yeah, it's there. It's laying pretty flat. It's a TV movie that they put in the big screen. Unfortunately, it is difficult Yeah, you gave me no sense of what this was
Maybe
going
I
to be
should have
like.
stepped in and said, Cap, listen, you don't want to do this.
You
But
don't
he
want to
seemed
do
so
this.
excited about it, and I didn't want to crush his little dreams.
I knew it was a kids movie. I didn't know it was a teen movie. Those are different.
That's
You know
kind
what I
of
mean?
worse, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And to be fair, like as much sympathy as I can muster for Frakes and the people making this, and by the way, like there's not any of Frakes' fingerprints on this at all. Like he's just making what they had. The reason he gets so much work is because he's such a good working director. He falls in and gets the style and tone of whatever you're trying to make. So he's like, all right, I know what this is supposed to be. So he makes this. But I think it's very difficult to make a thing like this that would hold up. Because it's so much about appealing to whatever was big in the culture right then. Obviously, you can write a better script, and you can have something more character driven, and you can have characters that are a little bit more layered and stuff. But it's and I guess immediately that would make it less dated. I'm talking myself out of this argument. You could put more effort in and make a thing that is more timeless because the story is good. The end.
There's certain like teen movies like
but I do think that it's a little tougher when you're because. When you're trying to appeal to whatever is in the zeitgeist right then, like, the teen demographic is a demographic that changes constantly. And so the people that are in that demographic, the thing that they like right now, they're not going to care about in 2 to 3 years.
Come on, Cap. You didn't have your DJ competition after school?
No, I didn't know you yet. Oh.
Yeah, you know, we were trying out for my friendship.
Yeah, I had to try out for DJ's friendship. I had to come back to 4 callbacks before I could be DJ's friend.
No, I had to try out to be your friend DJ. You had a lot of DJs in the running.
You did sort of have to try out for the mod role.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda. Not really. I mean, it was more like you trying out whether or not you wanted to do it. Really, it was like, oh, you want to come on one? See if that works out. Yep, he's pretty good. I mean, I don't want to say a monkey could do your job, DJ, but
I'm a voice of the people.
I'm not.
You insult me, you insult the people.
No, I'm absolutely kidding. No, nobody mods like DJ.
So this is the most insane.
DJ helps me fill in the dead air when we're watching something like this. You gotta have that skill. It's important.
Yeah, so this is insane. They're making him dance because they're moving so fast nobody can see them. So they're moving his body.
Oh, that's what's happening? Oh.
Which, first of all, it's a DJ competition, so I don't know why everyone's just super pumped that he can dance. But second, like, there's no way you can move someone naturally, especially at the right time, because he left her in hyperspace for like a second that one time, and she was there for like 10 minutes. So how would they know the right speed to move this guy to make him look like he's actually moving?
And then explain to me what the resolution was to the French Stewart scene.
No.
Like, that's unfortunate. It is flubber at this point. But no. What? Explain this to me though. What was the resolution of that French Stewart scene? Where, like, have we gotten the kink out that makes you rapidly age?
No, he just hasn't done it enough yet. You'll see later. He'll warn him against doing it so much.
Oh, okay. So the more you do it, the more it affects your body. Okay.
I mean, you're aging, but it's just he hasn't seen the effects of aging yet because he hasn't done it that much. He's sitting in hyper time like all day long for days. The other guy is.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
They have him stuck in there, so they have what you want, Cap. They have him in there working in hyper time so he can get more work done because he's got like thousands more hours than we do.
Yeah, I would like to have that, but I wouldn't want the side effects.
Yeah. It would be no different, I guess. You would just die the same time. You would just get your time earlier in your life.
That reminds me a little bit of Relativity, a Voyager episode about that's a time travel thing where, like, the more you get taken out of your time period and thrown into another time period, the more likely you are to die. Reminds me of that.
Yeah. There you go. There's a conversation. What would you do if you had the power to stop time, Cap?
Not anything they've done so far.
You go to Vegas?
None of those things. I mean,
I would like to go somewhere where I can get into without getting in trouble. Like, places that are off limits or...
Yeah, I suppose so.
Things that you couldn't get into.
What's weird is you could use it sort of to eavesdrop, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, people wouldn't know you were there, but they're all frozen.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to hear them or see them do anything.
Yeah, the relative time thing gets really awkward. Oh, hilarious. Yeah. So, it's come to this. We have hit rock bottom.
On this man.
I'm sorry, what?
He looks like he's the pants from the Tacky music video that Jack Black was wearing.
Yes! That's exactly right!
But no, he said, I'm going to call the Super Friends because you're abusing your powers, is what he said. There's another reference for you. Man, people are dropping. The comments, the chat has just vaulted to a stop.
Well, that's fair. The same has happened to me.
You wanna film some Morphin Manias while this is playing?
We could do that. We really could. We're like,
pull up another tab.
It's Morphin Mania time, Netflix. Folks. We're also, just so you know, we're streaming in another place. I don't even think we could do that. I can stream in 2 places. But like, we're also watching Clockstoppers, which is Power Rangers, but not. This desperately needs Megazords. Desperately.
Dude, you know the guy who makes the videos on YouTube where it's like
Lord
of the Rings?
Now it's a love story. Yes!
And like, Star Trek Power Rangers, he could totally do this with a season of Power Rangers.
Yeah, and he should use the Time Force.
Yeah.
Those are awesome.
Those are so cool. I actually got a kick of those
Second Chance Man. You can never tell if teen actors in movies with scripts this bad can act. Because they're not given any material, so you're like, oh my god, these actors are all terrible.
Yeah, no. Oh,
I don't know.
Remember that? Remember those days riding your bike with no hands? That was cool.
I never did that because
I never did that. I never did a handstand on my hand.
I'm also pretty sure he's not doing that.
No, of course not.
He's not doing any of these things.
I like this moonwalk.
This is another one of those places where I'm getting flashbacks to the 90s Power Rangers movie where it's like we're getting the very important information that the Power Rangers are athletic. Like, it's that scene.
See, yeah, this would just be really cool to like ride your bike through a building. Everyone's frozen. I don't know. Maybe we're different people. I used to have pegs on my wheels like he has.
I see why that would appeal to a person. I think the novelty would wear off for me very quickly. What's more likely, I'm not an active enough person. I will admit that. I think what would probably happen is I would do that once or twice, and then I would just take it for granted that I had that ability, and that I would never use it. Oh, yeah, that's right. You know, I've had this clock thing for 2 months, and this whole time I could have been stopping time. I just never get around to stopping time.
That was a cool effect where she threw the pick. See, they're in hypertime with him. This is the first time he was in hypertime when he was coming home, and there's people that are moving, which freaked him out because they're also in hypertime. Because they also have watches.
And see, we always, in a thing like this, though, that's always a plot point that we have to do in order to advance the plot and have anything happen. It's like, oh man, somebody else can do this too, and we can interact outside of time. I'm sure, I'm wondering if, I gotta go back and look, if Frakes directed the TNG episode that this is most reminiscent of. DJ, there's an episode in, I think, season 6, where time gets frozen to a crawl, and like with this, anybody inside of the frozen, there's just a weird space anomaly, and anybody inside of the frozen time is moving like very, very slowly to where they look like they're frozen like this, and there are armbands that they develop that allow you to like go into that time that time frame without getting frozen, so you can walk around while everybody's frozen, and it happens to the Enterprise. And so there are like all these Romulans that are aboard the Enterprise and frozen, and the whole thing is this mystery where Picard's trying to figure out why these Romulans are there. And they do things, DJ, like Crusher gets almost phasered to death. Like, she's got a phaser beam, like, this far away from her, like a Romulan fires a phaser at her, and it stops, like, this close to her chest, and she's frozen, and it's like, once they get unfrozen, it's gonna hit her, and they have stuff like that, like all over the ship.
Yeah.
And so this is just that again, but not anything like as interesting.
Yeah.
And so far, that had more special effects than this does.
Hey, at least we get to learn how to hotwire a car.
Noah, you are right. This is not as boring as Insurrection. Very few things are.
So it's weird. They have like this freezing gun, but it looks visually like it's actually freezing them with ice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Okay, that's kind of cool.
That's a cool effect.
Where, like, the cars are supposed to be moving.
That was a lot of his early 2000s career was, whoa!
Yes. So why do we need this? I mean, he did that a lot in Third Rock, too, but why do we have this, like, echoey modulation on their voices?
Yeah, whenever they're in hyper time, they do that, just to let you know, I guess.
Okay, but they could have come up with a better audio effect, because it just sounds like they're in a tunnel.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it should be distorted, not like I'm in the bathroom talking on the phone. Like...
That's probably what I sound like right now, coming through your mic.
Well, no, because you're not in a bathroom.
It is liquid nitrogen, Cinematographics says. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Someone just said Rango is so good. Is that what we're doing? Just talking about other movies now in the chat?
I mean, that's fair. Oh, we told folks feel free to do that. There's not a lot here to talk. Now we have that obligatory car chase that I expected we get to. That just didn't happen early. What?
That's kind of funny.
Okay.
I like that.
That's redundant.
Crazy lunatic. That's redundant.
Oh, okay. I missed the crazy part. I just heard lunatic. I was like, what is redundant about them?
I called him a crazy lunatic.
That's like big giant.
Yeah, I actually say that a lot.
I say that a lot, and I have gotten pegged on vaults for that. It's like, Cap, if it's big and giant, you could just say big or giant.
Yeah, but we're really enunciating it.
I would probably use this ability like at the grocery store, or to not have to stand in lines. You know,
Well,
like you
Cap's
go,
a thief.
like you
Tell
go through
everybody
the.
Cap's a thief.
No, I wouldn't steal things. I would just amass all my stuff in my cart while I didn't have to like deal with people. You know, and then just my stuff's already in my cart by the time. So then I just like unfreeze everybody once I'm ready to check out.
There you go.
know, or you could use it like to not have to deal with traffic on the freeway.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know, that sort of
I would
thing.
love
Like, there's a lot
But
of
you would probably get
applications.
stuck a lot. Like, if there was traffic, you wouldn't be able to get through.
I feel like this material is better served as not a kid premise.
Absolutely.
You know?
there's, what most people would do immediately if they had this power.
Yeah, I think it would be more fun to see what just like somebody with a lowly, mundane existence who suddenly has, and that's true of a lot of superpowers, where it's kind of fun to just see like a person with like a normal 9-to-5 job, barely getting by. Like, how do they use a superpower to make their life, more bearable, to like improve their quality of life, and then at some point they probably get more ambitious. I feel like there's like I don't know, there might have been like a Jim Carrey movie or something in this, like just something like initially really mundane. I'm thinking of stuff
I gotta
like
look up this mom. This mom must be in other mom things because I recognize her.
Yeah, I don't
so
recognize
hard.
her. But stuff like, I'm reminded of things like Bruce Almighty, where like at first, like you're just parting your, the waters in your soup, and then you get ambitious later. More acting.
You had us so worried.
Okay, why would you think he would have any idea what you're talking about?
It's a molecular accelerator. Come on, guys.
He goes, I was in hyper time, and, like... It's not like he's a little kid. You know? Like, when you're 15, 16, you ought to be well-adjusted enough to be like, if I start saying things like hyper time, he'll think I'm crazy. Or at the very least, you need context for people to know what you're talking about.
Oh, no. I'm embarrassed. I found out what I know her from, and I'm embarrassed.
Is it pornography?
It's Beethoven's Fourth.
Oh, okay.
The road trip movie with Judge.
I figured it was going to be some direct-to-video thing.
Judge Reinhold. Any big Beethoven fans in the chat? There's like 6 of them.
There's 6 Beethoven fans in the chat? I'm kidding.
No, there's 6 Beethoven movies.
No, I think there's more than that. I think there's 8 or 9.
Gosh. When I stopped, there was 6. There was like
wrong.
5, and then they did the 6th one with like that kid from Hannah Montana.
No, it is exactly like Land Before Time. Or the Buddies movies. It's more like those, because they're dog movies.
No, you're right. You're right, Christian Garcia. It was Beethoven's Third. She's in both, but I remember Beethoven's Third. That was the road trip one.
It bothers me that you could even make the distinction or remember which is which.
No, Beethoven's Fourth was like the Prince and the Pauper plot, and it was stupid. The old switcheroo.
By the way, DJ, I was just joking earlier. I did not mean to belittle what you do in these shows, because obviously not everybody can do what you do, and you are fantastic at it. I was completely joking.
Oh, no, you don't have to explain yourself. Oh my gosh, I thought he was about to blow up the hospital like Joker.
And then I'm going to blow up a hospital.
The way he was running out like that.
But no, all I meant with that monkey crack, DJ, was it would be really amusing to have, like, a line of people that you were trying to audition for that job.
Well, you don't know this, but for episode 200, we're actually going to turn me into a chimp.
Oh, okay.
Using the technology from Power Rangers Turbo, which will still be by the time we get to episode 200.
It's creepier when you touch it, though, is the thing. Nobody looks at magazines like that.
What did he touch?
He was looking at like a Cosmo or something, and there was like there was a girl with revealing clothes or was nude. I'm not sure, because it was just like neck up, and he was just like touching the paper while he was looking at it. Yeah, it's very strange. What are you wearing? Oh yeah, you can totally pass yourself off as a cop, you 15-year-old kid.
No shoes.
Budget cuts? Well, that's...
Oh man, where are we at a bat mitzvah?
Was that this crew expressing their frustration with how little money they had in this movie?
See, we're gonna tie this. She's like Carmen
Budget
Electra,
cuts.
and he's like Matt Murdock.
Yeah, cinematographic. Supposedly 15 years old. Still not as bad as a lot of the Smallville casting, though.
Why was she just about to take her shirt off for no reason?
I don't know, but this movie is playing like it's for an 11 or 12-year-old audience to me. And it's weird the places in which it's trying really hard to be like a little, I don't want to say edgier, but just, appeal to teen urges or whatever, right? Like, it's too Power Rangers for that. Yeah, when she started to pull her shirt up and she was going to take it off, and I saw a little bit of bra, I was shocked. I was like, this is not that kind of movie. Like,
especially because the way it cut, it was like she just went upstairs from the party she was at. I guess this is supposed to be later in the night.
Yeah, like it's writing way more juvenile than it seems to think that it is. It just everything about this screams adults out of touch that don't know their audience. Like, I get that they were kissing earlier, but that doesn't, like... You can't not have that in a kid's movie. It's not like it was real explicit or anything. Like, oh, okay, they're in love, you know. There's kissing in Power Rangers. Not a lot.
Why is she so wealthy? What do her parents do?
I was going to ask that quite, yeah. They're both brain surgeons, I guess.
Someone said she's 28 when she filmed this, and she's playing like a 15-year-old.
That's worse than Smallville. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
that's even worse than the tumbling thing.
Of course, this song says time in it.
Oh, right. We have to do that. Now, I am actually a big fan of certain covers of this song. One of them was in Smallville, and I love it. This is not a great one.
Christian Garcia says her dad's an ambassador.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks.
Baxter says, "Don't ruin the song, movie."
You could begrudge us not paying enough attention to this movie if you really want to.
That makes sense, I guess. It's like we can't have a foreign person in our movie in 2002 unless her father's an ambassador, a literal ambassador.
Is that a thing? What do you mean?
I feel like in all the Disney Channel shows that I used to watch as a kid, like every time some new kid would come to their school and it would be like just generic foreign person that wasn't like a recognizable race, then it would be because they were like political parents that were like ambassadors.
Oh, okay. We need some sort of an excuse where it's like, yeah, it's just foreign people don't live in America. America was never a melting pot. Like people didn't come here because they didn't like where they lived in other countries. That's never happened. America wasn't a place where people fled to from oppressive places. What's wrong with your face? Okay, so next time, hang on, I gotta say this real quick, DJ. Next time I suggest a movie that you've seen that you know is terrible, would you just find if there's a scene like that, just take it out of context.
Like, before you announce
take it out of context, send it to me and be like, do you really want to watch a movie for an hour and a half that has this in it? This older lady going like this for 5 minutes? Do you really want to watch that? While they're passing money back and forth.
That was my first thought. I was like, wait a second, Clockstar. I didn't even like that as a kid that much. But then you were like, it's this guy that I love his work, and I wanted to see it. I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything.
Well, I kind of wish you had. I hope everybody's having a good time with this. I would have turned this off a long time ago if we weren't watching with you guys, but...
Hey, let's just talk to the viewers. What do you guys want to talk about? Mr.
I
Roboto.
cannot wait to see the comments later. Every comment is just going to be like, okay, Cap, seriously, where is X video that I've been wanting to see when you're wasting your time with this crap? Doing anything else, yeah, like...
That's a large percentage of this.
We could have been doing a Captain Logan show.
I feel like they're going to blame me. I feel like they're blaming all the stuff that I do with you. They're going to be like, it's DJ's fault.
This actually is your fault, because you could have stopped this. You could have clock stopped this, but you did not.
It'd been like 20 years, man. I thought maybe I was... Or not 20, but like 15 years. I didn't have a good, solid view. I didn't think it was great, but I don't know. I was, what, 9? So Mr. Roboto gives us a $2 super chat. He says, a Geekvolution movie one day? One day?
Yeah, I've considered it. I just haven't had like that great spark of an idea yet. I want to do something like Spawn Year that's in a couple of hours. So like the Spawn Year movie, but not a thing that I have to condense down from 365 episodes. You know, like I want to make something like that, even potentially something built around a review, kind of like the AVGN movie, kind of like I did with Spawn Year. But I just haven't had that great idea yet. Like, if it was built around a review, I would probably start with the review idea. So I got to figure out what that is.
Clockstoppers.
Or I. And all the effects are like, they're not even effects. It's just like I do a parallel thing like I did with Spawnier where I get the ability to stop time, but the entire thing takes place in my bunker and no one else is in the movie but me. So you can never even tell. Like, it doesn't matter. I just keep stopping time. It's like, you don't have to take my word for it. I stopped time. See, there was this light that was that I need to replace that was blinking, and now that I've stopped time, it's no longer blinking.
People are giving me the business in the chat. They're like, it's always DJ's fault from OAW Entertainment. Matthew Bass, you knew, DJ. You knew, and you said nothing.
And you know, like, Tuesdays we've been kind of rotating different shows. Like, we could just be doing 2 Captain Logan shows every week. Those have been a lot of fun. There's always an audience for that. Bless you.
Right.
We keep coming up with a lot of really fun topics. And but I do want to keep doing some commentaries, and this is the best time to do that. I just need to do commentaries on things that I, have seen, I guess.
Anybody cares?
The blind stuff is fun to do, because for some reason people do seem to like reaction videos, and I'm trying to be more okay with doing those. But the problem is, if I've not seen a thing, I don't know how it's going to go. Like, everybody understand, this is how Spawn Year happened. I had only read like 10 or 12 Spawn comics when I decided to do Spawn Year. So that was that kind of experiment. Like, for 2 years, I'm stuck doing a thing I probably would, I was happy with how that turned out, but like, I probably wouldn't have, like, forced myself to read all of that crappy material if I had known just how crappy it was. This kind of thing is the same thing in microcosm.
That's actually horrifying.
Yes, it is. If you get picked up,
truck.
by a garbage truck, yeah. And now it's the end of Toy Story 3.
Back Studio says, great. DJ gave us Corona. Wonderful. TH1 gives us $5.
Beer's just not even that good.
He says, I'm enjoying this movie, but I like flubber, so what do I know?
Well, I wasn't going to say it, so I'm glad you did.
We love it when people pay us to insult themselves to us.
Yeah, that was really nice of you, Tom. Thanks, buddy. Look,
I
like
get
what you
to
like, man.
switch out.
I can't, I don't know everything about you. I don't know your background. I don't know, like, something led you to enjoy movies like this, and that's great for you. But I want to do something else now. French Stewart. I'm having a little bit, although, I don't think French Stewart's like a great actor or anything. I'm having a little bit of that thing I did with Underdog, where you've got like that one comic relief actor that oddly kind of carries the whole thing, although he's not on screen enough. But like, you had that with Patrick Warburton in that movie, where like, if you just had a trailer of nothing but his scenes, I'd be like, oh, this is gonna be great.
Whoa, Mr. Christian Garcia. Don't you dare besmirch Snow Day.
What is Snow Day?
He says, if you think this is bad, you haven't seen Snow Day, also from Nickelodeon. Snow Day is Josh Peck and whoever played Harriet the Spy.
Wait a minute. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Is French Stewart right now doing the thing from Field of Dreams where he's pretending like his finger is a gun? They're buying it?
Well, they're children.
Does he have a gun? Or is he actually pretending like his finger is a gun?
No, if he had a gun, why would it be in his jacket?
Well, that was the logic in Field of Dreams from what's his face? From Terrence Mann. Who's like, that's not a gun, that's your finger. What are you talking about? I'm not gonna show you my gun. You know what the difference is? That scene is classic. This scene is not classic. Neither is this scene.
You know when you kidnap a guy who tries to like pretend to shoot you, and then you just get in a towel right in front of him and wear nothing else?
You know how a normal person gets up in the morning and pretends like his finger is a gun and kidnaps someone, and then takes him to a hotel room and
takes a shower in front of him.
No, I don't know. So, like, I guess this is supposed to be, like, a political espionage thriller.
Man, it is so hard to talk through this.
Mm-hmm.
We could be doing Morphin Mania. We could be doing Marvel Mania right now. We could be doing another Captain Logan show. So many things we could be doing.
Yep.
Oh,
well, I can't
Shack?
get anything at Radio Shack now. There is no Radio Shack.
Oh, poor Radio Shack.
Yep.
Sad that immediately dates the movie. Oh, remember science fairs?
But no, the reason I said that, I wasn't just trying to fill time, DJ. The reason I said that is because it's like I'm suddenly reminded, oh yeah, that's right, this is supposed to be like a spy thriller thing. Like, it keeps oscillating back and forth between, like, almost pseudo superhero, like, we got powers and we're trying to decide what to do with them. And then French Stewart shows up and it's like, oh yeah, now it's like a really generic, like, standard, we don't really know how these are supposed to go, but we're making one anyway. Kind of espionage thing.
She's using her power of being hot to distract the nerds.
You have that scene in every one of these kind of movies.
So they're all wearing these super conspicuous glasses, I guess to hide themselves, but it's just making them much more obvious.
Noah says they're wearing sunglasses. Now it really is the Matrix. So, I just thought of this, DJ. I'm gonna make this point. We made a lot more of these kinds of movies in the mid-'80s. These, like, really awkward teen comedies, where, like, teens get in over their heads in some kind of, like, grand government conspiracy or something. And I just reviewed one a couple weeks ago, Cloak and Dagger, which I actually liked surprisingly well. Again, a lot of them were awkward and strange and didn't have enough of an internal logic and don't necessarily come together at the end. But most of them are better than this, than these kinds of things, because they were very often, like, weird in an ambitious way. Like, this is just ultra formulaic and not doing anything interesting. Like, a lot of those were interesting failures. This is not that. It's like we've gotten out of touch with those kind. A lot of those movies were trying to be things like Goonies or E.T., and we've gotten so far away from the time when we made good, like teen sci-fi comedies. E.T. is not a straight-up comedy, but you know what I mean. We've gotten so far away from those that we've forgotten the source. It's almost like we're not influenced by any particular movie. Now we're just going, this is a genre that we know kids like, right? Like, we're so out of touch, we don't realize that we don't make these things anymore. And so, like, at this point, there's no specific influences. They're not even ripping off any particular movies. It's just, at this point, it's just the tropes of a genre that we don't make. Like think in the mid to late 90s, DJ, and I mean, I know you're a lot younger than I am, but, like, there aren't good examples of movies like this.
I can't think of any.
Or if there are, I don't know what they are. And then, like, later, you get things like Spy Kids that are okay. But around when this gets made, like, that's right around this, but before this, the stuff that could have influenced it, there weren't good examples, I don't think.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff around this period. This is where it kind of, like, boomed back up, like the Cody Banks movies. Like I said, Alex Wright earlier. There's, like, a lot of straight-to-DVD, like, that my parents got me from Blockbuster when I was a kid.
Like, this is not only
terrible.
dated, but but I think I would have found it dated at the time, even. Because, like, a lot of, we talk about a lot of, like, the fashion things and the song selections and stuff, but that seems like trying to 2000s-ify a script that might have been written in, like, 1993. Oh boy, am I done? Am I done with this movie? And I've got 22 more minutes!
I know, don't look at it, man. It's just depressing.
I'm not gonna have as many fingers when we get to the end of this, I don't think.
Oh, man, me and Cap are going through something, man. This is... between this and Flubber, me and Cap are, like, I think we're officially blood brothers.
All it can do is either... I was gonna say, it can only strengthen a relationship or ruin it beyond repair.
Make it or break it, baby.
When we get to
you
the end of this,
Flubber and this back to back.
you and I are gonna either never speak to each other again, or there will be people, or like we'll understand each other on a level that even our wives don't. You know, it's like,
yeah. If you can talk to someone while watching Clockstoppers, it's a match made in heaven. Like,
yeah, it tells you something about how deep the friendship goes. Well, if you think
all
about
I
it,
want to do is just stew and be angry right now.
if you think about it, you and I have spent most of our time together watching not good things.
Yeah, this is like just par for the course for us. I mean, like we've probably spent like more of our time together watching crappy things than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, the majority. I mean, wouldn't you say I mean, okay, we've done a lot of Captain Logan show together now, but
Yeah,
like, I
true.
would still say some 60% of our time together at least has been Power Rangers commentaries, and I still would rather be doing that right now, like, because at least that's got like some fun action and some colorful things, and like, you know, all the like I can go back to my like 6 or 8-year-old self and be entertained on a level of flashy, you know, bouncy things happening on the screen. Like I could be entertained in some way.
Yeah, and then at least that gets kind of so bad it's good territory. This is not. This is just boring. It's not like it's so over the top and ridiculous that it's funny.
No, it is boring in the exact same way that Flubber was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it is a better movie than Flubber, but marginally.
Yeah. Oh, here's something. Thank God. Something to talk about. Some facts from Stephen Mercy.
All
Stephen
right.
Murphy.
Cool.
This placed 5th at the box office. Panic Room, The Rookie, and Death to Schmoochie came out the same day.
That's amazing. The Death to Smoochie, I don't know how that performed. I think that did okay against its budget, but I would have to go look.
Oh, man.
I may be wrong though. That's an interesting movie. It's not my thing, but I get why people like it.
I might have to be TH1's best friend from now on. He just said the best super chat of all time. TH1 says $2 super chat. Big Fat Liar next.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Oh, have you seen Big Fat Liar? That was my movie back in the day. That was one of those ones I watched over and over and over and over, like as you do as a kid. See it tons of times. It's a Frankie Muniz movie with it's where I fell in love with Paul Giamatti. He's the villain in that movie.
Okay, I'm very confused about how any of this works. So they have frozen time.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier. They're in hyper time,
right?
and those they put what's that freeze stuff that you can buy, like dry ice?
Like antifreeze, or
no, it's what is it called? Someone said it earlier. Anyway, that's liquid nitrogen.
Okay,
So
all right.
if you spray someone with liquid nitrogen, it slows their molecules back down,
Right.
And then they're back in regular time.
Okay, but here's what I'm confused about. So all of the guys that are like chasing after them right now are they also wearing watches and stuff?
Some of them, yeah. The
Okay.
ones that are moving.
So then here's what I'm not getting. There's a lady's voice over a PA system that says unauthorized hypertime. Is the PA voice wearing a watch? Like, wouldn't
I think
it
it's
freeze
probably
everything?
Yeah, I don't know why the machine would work. I don't know why
The machine shouldn't work. Yeah, but also there was another voice that came over the radio that was not automated. So I'm assuming that must also be some like one of these agents. I guess. Like this seems very inconsistent to me. Like I don't even get the rules. Because they didn't freeze everybody with that. They're also using the watches, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Rolf. Yeah, so that it is a machine because it just said have a nice day, Rolf Kanata. Oh no.
What's
There's
that?
a Big Fat Liar too? How dare they besmirch the Big Fat Liar?
I have no idea what this is that we're talking about. But yeah, Bag mentioned Danny DeVito. Yeah, that was Death to Smoochie was his project, his big project right then. He acts in that and he directed it. It's interesting. It's not terrible.
Big Fat Liar is a Sean Levy movie? Are you familiar with Sean Levy?
It rings a bell, but Not right off.
I don't know what you've seen. Oh, you've seen Real Steel, which he's done.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Like middle of the road.
I enjoy it. I'll watch that again sometime.
Museum movies.
Oh, okay.
TH1 says, gives us a super chat to say Big Fat Liar 2 is horrible, DJ. Well, I wouldn't expect it to not be. But thanks for the heads up. I had no intention of watching it.
That big metal dome thing reminds me of those things in the playground. Those domes that like you crawl on the outside of and you can like go in. I don't see those as much anymore. That was like my favorite piece of playground equipment when I was a kid.
There's a current television show, like a Ninja Warrior type thing called Tag, where they have a level like that. You're running from people in one of those, and it's suspended like 30 feet in the air.
That's awesome.
You have to, like, climb around.
I thought you were going to say there was a whole show about those things, and I was going to be like, well, that's niche. That's very niche.
Well, basically, it's called Tag, but there's like a lot of there's like 3 different level of obstacle courses. Anybody watching Tag? Hardcore free running.
I'd rather do that right now.
Jesse, a lot of people from my Instagram that I follow are in Tag. So I've been seeing a lot of ads for it.
Patterson Powers, hi there. This is a name I don't recognize. Captain Logan, your thoughts on DC Comics in Warner Brothers firings? I heard something about that, but I've not looked into it, so I don't know much about the layoffs yet. I should look into that. We'll talk about it on Thursday.
So Bag Studios gave us a $2 super chat. He says, "I like old dogs, and even I am baffled by this." I love that people are like.
Just finding other movies they think are worse than this.
They're like validating their tastes. They're like giving us a range. Like, hey, just to let you know, I like old dogs, but even I don't. Have you seen Old Dogs?
I don't know what that is either. No.
I've seen. See, I'm a little younger than you, so I've seen all those kids movies that you are older for. So it's a Robin Williams, John Travolta kids movie.
Yeah, see, you
so weird.
Well, and look, that guy looked like low-rent Rutger Hauer. But, like, yeah, the thing is, when you're gonna miss all the kids' movies between the period where, if you have my life anyway, I don't mean to presume that everybody does all the same things I do, but if you get married and have kids, you're gonna have, when you're a kid, you see the kids' movies. When you are a teenager and maybe have younger siblings, you end up seeing some of the kids' movies. And we're talking like, some of the crappy direct-to-video type stuff. And then when you're in your 20s, going to college, you miss all that stuff. And then when you have kids again, you maybe start to see them again, or you're careful to try to show your kids mostly decent things.
I'm trying. Yeah, let's talk about that. I haven't seen you in a while when we're not filming the Captain Logan show. So what have you been up to lately, man?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been I'm writing a book.
I finally bit the bullet and started Avatar: The Last Airbender show.
Did you
People
really?
kept telling me to do it.
Wow. Yeah.
I finally started. I'm like, I think 6 episodes in.
Are you liking it?
Yeah, it's cool. It's hard for me to get back into that mindset for that kind of show, but I'm liking it. I'm watching it with my kid in the mornings, like before school. But we're also 4 episodes into season 2 of Umbrella Academy. Me and my wife. That's really cool.
Oh, great.
We were watching the what's the original? Who's the original Robin Hood guy that your wife likes?
Oh, Errol Flynn.
Yeah, we're watching the Errol Flynn Robin Hood after dinner. This just an hour ago with my son.
Oh, that's awesome.
Was fun.
That's a great movie. Can you believe how well they've cleaned up the footage on that? Like, it looks like it was shot last Thursday. It's ridiculous.
It's really nice. It's on
that
HBO
remaster is gorgeous.
I'm loving the Turner classic movies that they have. I also started Godzilla, the original Godzilla, with my son. A couple.
Yeah, I finally watched Casablanca a couple weeks ago, and enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, I saw that in theaters last year for the first time.
Mr. Roboto $2 super chat. Might I suggest Flight of the Navigator? We should do that on one of these. I don't know if that's streaming anywhere, but I have done a science fiction rewind on that. I have a lot to say about that movie.
Oh, nice. I have not seen it. So
it is ultra flawed, and it would be interesting to see you watch that blind.
Okay, I'm down for it. I'm down because it means I have to do no preparatory work.
That's right. No prep. I am glad that I didn't prep for this because I would have canceled it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have been glad if you did, because then you would have watched 10 minutes and we would have did something else.
Yeah, it would have been great. I'm thinking of all the other things that are kind of like, odd and not the best, but would be a lot of fun to watch. Like, I'm sitting here going, could we just put in, like, Neverending Story? Like, that's streaming somewhere. That's on Netflix right now.
Yeah, no, it was on. Yeah, it just moved. I think it was on HBO Max for a while, and it was in the last chance bin. So I watched it with my son real quick.
That in the last chance bin at Walmart. It was just like, you better get it now, because.
Well, actually, that's a feature that HBO Max has that I like, that they pulled from HBO. That last chance thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'll just have it sitting in my watch list forever, and I'll never get to it, and I'll just forget about it.
Oh, weird. Now he can move through solid objects.
Yeah, he went into hyper time while he was in hyper time. That's what happened while we were talking.
Okay. How's that work? Wouldn't that just make things even slower? Okay.
His molecules are moving like twice as fast now, so they're moving so fast that when he touches the table, they go through the molecules of the table. So this is
like the equivalent of that like molecular dimension in Ant-Man, right?
Yeah. They're going between the part of it.
Hyper time. Because now it's reminding me of a TNG episode called The Next Phase. We're just blending a lot of TNG episodes in this. But only premise-wise, not story-wise. We're not doing anything cool story-wise, it doesn't seem.
Already this makes more sense than Ant-Man, because why do they not rapidly age while they're stuck in the hypertime dimension in Ant-Man?
Ooh, I do not dislike that idea. Because we could get suggestions from people for it. Was it Bag? Somebody suggested that we could do Streaming Wars like we do Star Trek Club and have a wheel.
Yeah.
And put a bunch of things on it and spin the wheel. The only problem with that is if something stays on the wheel long enough, it could leave a streaming service.
Yeah, that's true. But that's just part of the game, I guess.
I guess if that comes up, we can't find it anywhere, we'll spin the wheel again. I guess we could do that. How do you feel about that? How would we do it the same way we do in Star Trek Club, where people can leave super chats to put stuff on the wheel, and then you and I could just load it with some things? Like, that would be a way to do it.
I'm down for that.
I don't dislike that idea. We would not do it weekly, though.
It would lead.
I don't think we do it every week, but what's that?
The only thing with us not being able to pick is it would lead to more commentaries like this, potentially, where we have nothing to say.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Good things for us.
Yeah, would we allow people to put anything on it? I guess that's a question. Well, we'll talk about this later, but... Okay, well, at least there's some action happening.
Yeah, look at that jump dodging that liquid nitrogen.
I mean, this is looking like a pretty standard third act, but, like, none of this action looks terrible for a TV movie, which it isn't.
Have you ever messed around with liquid nitrogen?
Have I ever been frozen by liquid nitrogen?
No. I've never messed around with it,
No, like a science museum or something? No, I haven't.
I went to like a homeschool.
Okay, never mind. There are some not great effects in this sequence.
Where they were messing around with it, and we also learned how to do a magic trick with like a ring that was like science or something. I don't remember. I went with this girl who was homeschooled, and she was cute, and I don't remember anything about it.
And then Jesse Pinkman walks in and goes, "Science!"
I also painted her bedroom with chalk paint. That's another memory I have of her. I don't know why.
We should do a commentary on a Breaking Bad episode. That'd be fun.
Heck yeah. I've only seen that show once.
And I know it really well.
So that would be different. A different vibe.
Patterson Powers, what age would you let your kids watch rated R movies? My opinion on that has always been it just depends on the kid and the emotional and intellectual development.
Oh no!
Wow! Okay, that was mildly entertaining.
It was anticlimactic though. I thought he was gonna like explode or something, and he just
got stuck in and he's just frozen. He's just a statue now. Oh wait, that is not the face he was making. That is not at all the face he was making. Wow, this triumphant "we just won the movies over" score is obnoxious. It's not Apollo 13! Stop it!
The music in this is insane. Who did the score for this? I want to look up some stuff about this movie, because we had...
Oh, the score is also from 1993. God, I just want to slap myself in the face repeatedly right now.
Do you recognize any of these names written by Rob Hayden?
No, I don't know
Andy
that.
Hayden.
I don't know that
Hayden?
right away. Yeah, no, it sort of sounds like dancing around the DS9 theme. You know, as if you made a thing that couldn't get the rights to that theme, so it just like dancing.
I want you to guess how many writers are on this film.
5.
6.
I knew it was too many cooks in the kitchen.
Good grief.
Mr. Roboto says there's another super chat we missed.
Let's check it out. Flight of the Navigator. Cap.
Yes.
No, I said that. You might not have heard me because Cap might have been talking, but I said Flight of the Navigator is on streaming Disney Plus.
Was that Tom Super Chat?
Yeah, that's the other
Oh,
one.
okay.
So thanks, man. We can check it out. Is that a Disney movie or is that one of the ones they acquired?
No, you're not more distinguished. You just have a little bit of ugly makeup caked on your face.
He's got the Reed Richards thing going.
We did not do anything creative with this premise. Really. Okay, no offense to Tom or anybody that actually likes this, but I'm not understanding why I heard when this was out that this was good. Like, I don't know what people were digging on with this, but I just don't get it. It's just so relentlessly cheeseball.
Oh, he did get de-aged. You called it.
Okay, there we go.
That's creepy.
It's ultra
on his
creepy.
Little sister, like 20 years younger. Third. He gets the girl. He gets the car. Happy ending. Let's not watch the credits.
I just.
All right, and the last 15 minutes we'll be doing an actual Captain Logan show.
DJ, just come over here and take this harpoon out of my chest, man. Like, yikes! And of course, we got to end on another Smallville-esque song. Yeah, sure. You got to freeze one more thing real quick. Ah ha ha! The police can't catch us.
Yeah, that's a big step. They go from like. That's a huge.
Being sort of kind of superheroes to just breaking the law anytime they want to. Okay.
Noah says, why hasn't Frakes directed anything recently besides TV? This is why, Noah.
Yeah, but
Thunderbirds.
I mean, this is not mostly his fault. Like, look at the script he had to work with. I don't know. He just came in and did the job, but, like, yikes. Oh, boy. Okay.
All right, so we're going back to back. We're going straight to Thunderbirds. Everybody ring up your Thunderbirds.
No, we're not.
Timestamp 0.
God, I'm going to have no fingers left. I'm just going to have not all of them off. I'm working with 9 right now. Anyway, all right, DJ. Well, folks, if we can, like DJ suggested, go Captain Logan show for a few minutes. If anybody has anything you want us to talk about for just a little bit, we can do that for a couple minutes. Unless DJ's just got to run real fast. I don't know.
Save our brains.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to end this on a higher note than. Oh. So I don't know. DJ, let's do like 3 questions.
Well, let me answer this real quick from Tim Johnson.
Just whatever people want us to chat about. Well, we'll do more than that if a couple are like really, really stupid fast, but like 3 like substantial questions, like 10 minutes or so.
So Tim Johnson says, hey, Cap and DJ, so when is the next Morphin Mania? Also, we'll be live streaming Power Rangers Turbo, the season, not the movie. I don't know if you know this. There is a Morphin Mania channel. It's a separate channel called Morphin Mania, and that's where we're uploading stuff. Where the movie just went up today, and then later in the week will be the pilot for Turbo, which we've already filmed, which is the 3-part pilot. And we filmed a couple more episodes of Turbo. So we're doing that not live.
We have been getting that question enough that I feel like we are still not doing a good enough job of making it clear that that's a separate channel. It's just, there are enough of those, we don't want them to take over, and I'm not doing any major ongoing episode-to-episode stuff on the channel right now. I'm being a little more streamlined than I was before, so I just feel like if that takes over, people that don't care about Power Rangers, it's going to load their box up. So that's the main reason that we moved it to another channel. We have not been live streaming that show. We have been kicking around going back to that at some point. But being on a separate channel with not a great deal of subscribers, I don't know how I don't know how many people would show up to those. We could attempt one, DJ, but I guess the other problem is we don't have a regular day we stream that show, so we would have to like, and very often it's very last minute where it's one of us calls the other one and goes, hey, you got a minute? You got 20 minutes? You want to go ahead and shoot one? And then we do. So like we'd be able to give you no notice. Is the other problem?
Yeah, but we'll figure it out once we get in a rhythm with that, or like a schedule. It might be a little easier.
What can we do to get the word out better about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we just need to be more on top of it about posting and stuff. I'm gonna post. I posted the last episode of Zio to the Geekvolution Facebook and stuff, and that got a little bit more view, a little bit of a bump. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the movie tomorrow. But
I mean
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not me all disappointed because the view counts are low. Like it's Power Rangers this niche, not everybody cares about that. I'm not saying oh woe is me, we have small subscriber count or view count. It's just I keep seeing questions on the main channel like that, like where'd it go? It's posting right now. We're making them and giving them to you. So like folks aren't finding out about it. So we gotta make it clear. I guess I need to start plugging it more on the Captain Logan show, but I just don't want the first 15 minutes of that show being, so here's the thing we're making, and here's this other thing, and just plug constantly, because that's not fun for anybody.
Yeah, we just need to get fast about it, just like a quick one-off, couple second thing.
Yeah.
Someone said,
I'm going to start just holding up cards, like while I'm talking about something else, you know what I mean? It'll just be like, watch Morphomania at such and such a time, while meanwhile I'm just answering a super chat.
Yeah, if you watched us watching Clockstoppers this evening, the 22 of you that are watching it right now, you should be subscribed to Morphomania, because if you can watch us watch this, I promise you that is at least a little more entertaining.
It'll be more entertaining, I promise you. Absolutely. The worst episode of that is better than any 10 minutes of what we just did.
TH1 says, he gives us a $5 super chat. He says, I suggest you use a coin flip thing to pick if you or DJ's picks the next streaming war, or maybe set up a pool of movies.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I'm somewhat interested in the wheel notion just because it might be cool if we let the viewers in on this. But I mean, that also, like you suggested, DJ, could get really risky depending on what stuff people pick and put on a wheel. The coin flip notion, I mean, if it's just me and DJ picking, I would just go back and forth like Eric and I always did on You Made Me Watch. Like, it's my turn to pick this time, DJ's turn next. I wasted my pick, clearly. I should have picked something I've seen before. That was a wasted pick, but.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What could we do with the wheel where it's like valuable for people to do it, but not free reign?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Well, we can narrow it down to genre first of all. I mean, that would probably help. Like it's we're not gonna do like rom-coms and like historical period pieces, you know what I mean? Like you and I could pick things like that we know would be interesting to do, but we could just let the audience only pick genre. That would help narrow it down to some degree, but beyond that I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I imagine most of the people will want us to watch good stuff that they like. You got the bags though that like to watch you suffer.
Yeah, I still got to do the rest of the Star Wars prequels because of Bag.
We love you, Bag.
A Bag, spin the wheel, then bring one of your own, then flip the coin to decide who wins, the viewer or the host. I don't dislike that notion.
Wow, this is like a game show. This is like your dream, man.
Yeah. Well, okay, here's the only thing I don't like about that, Bag. If we let people pick things based on super chats, I feel like it would be unfair for us to be able to decline them and they never come up. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I put in a super chat so that you would eventually get to my pick, but you keep picking your pick because you don't want to do mine. So I don't know that I would do it that way.
Yeah.
Unless we just didn't do it by super chat, but then we could get loads of too many comments. That's the whole reason. This is not a cash grab. That's the whole reason with Star Trek Club I do it by super chats, because that way we don't overrun the wheel too fast and have too many picks on it.
Yeah. TH1 says most super chat for next episode, maybe. So I'm guessing he says like the most of the night.
That would end up being potentially 1, 2, 3 guys total. Yeah, no, we'll figure it out. DJ and I'll talk about this, and yeah, I mean, you guys feel free to send us more suggestions, but
that's potentially.
I want to move on and talk about something else,
because I know the commentary isn't a tier anymore on Patreon, so that's potentially a cool way for someone to just buy a commentary that they want us to do.
Bag says if it's a coin flip, it would come up eventually, but yeah, it might take a while. But keep in mind, I don't want to do this show on a weekly basis. So, I mean, it could take a really long time, because I don't even know how often we're going to do this is the thing. Because, like, we're using this as another way to get a variety of commentaries, but we're not even doing commentaries on a weekly basis right now, because sometimes we want to do an extra Captain Logan show, and Tuesdays and Thursdays are the nights we've set aside for streaming. Yeah. Because, we've got other things to do, and I just can't do it every day. So yeah, I don't want to get to where we're only doing commentaries on Tuesdays, because we'll have weeks where there's enough news, or we just have, cool ideas for Captain Logan shows, and there's more interest in that show. When we do that on a Tuesday and a Thursday, we tend to consistently have as large of an audience on Tuesday. So there's, and I like having as often 2 Captain Logan shows as possible, because there's people that can't make Thursday that seem to be very excited when we do it on a different day.
Yeah, that's been working really well. So this is just kind of when we want to break it up, and
this is just for the sake of variety.
Together. Yeah.
Yeah. This was unfortunate, but DJ, what else do you see?
Not people are just kind of joking about how terrible this was.
Tim Johnson says, "Yeah, I know. I'm already subscribed to Morphin Mania. I've been watching Morphin Mania a lot this week." Okay, awesome. I guess he was just wondering when we were coming back. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. We just finished Turbo last Thursday, and then today was the Turbo movie. I mean, we just finished Zeo last week, and now Turbo the movie was today, and then we've already filmed the first 3, 4, 5 episodes of Turbo. They'll be up this week and next week, so
yep.
Stay tuned.
And then we've got to start recording again pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's been fun. Turbo, I'm having a really weird experience with, because I always hated it, and so far I'm not hating it. And it's
not as bad as everyone says.
Not
I think
so far.
It helps that our favorite is Alien Rangers, and that turned out to be really bad.
Yeah, it's in sequence and relative to other things we've watched. And also, I was disappointed with sections of Zeo, and I used to consider that my favorite series. I don't think it is anymore. And going back to, we haven't done this in Morphomania yet, but going back recently and skipping around a little bit in Space is heads and shoulders above Zeo. I think I just like that show tonally and premise-wise, if I can say that. I don't know, I like the suits, I think a lot of that was, just nostalgia from when I was a kid. And that kind of air of mystery that season opens with. There's no mystery whatsoever. I mean, there is when Gold Ranger shows up. And that's at least more mystery than Green Ranger. It's yes, obviously it's Green. You really actually don't know who the Gold Ranger is, so that's nice. And then when you find out who it is, it's actually kind of a cool reveal. But anyway. No, cinematographic, it is still not a movie. The Turbo a Power Rangers movie, if that's what we're talking about. I still
came around on it, man. I got to you a little bit. You said you would have given it probably a 0.5 or a 5 or a 1 or something.
Yeah,
I think you bumped it up a point.
I would have bumped it up a little bit. It's still not a movie, though.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know. In some ways, it's more of one that But some of that is watching Turbo and realizing that Turbo also has a proper pilot.
Yeah, that's weird. Sketch 1 says, he gives us a $2.
But the action at the end of that was better than I remembered it.
Yeah, he says you can make it a Patreon perk, maybe. And then he follows it up with saying you could put the name of the patrons on the wheel as it spins.
Yeah, that's another possibility. I don't know if that would solve the we're not sure about some of the picks that could come up problem, though. I mean, that's mostly what we're trying to figure out, right? Is do we want to give people carte blanche to, do we want to risk this happening again? But this happened with me picking, so that's always possible. I think the issue is if it's gonna be blind, you're just always gonna take the risk that it's gonna be lame, boring, uncomfortable, or just so bad you wish you could turn it off in the first 10 minutes.
And also, you have to take the risk of it not being our best work. If you suggest if we spin on the wheel and it's like, oh, it's Casablanca, like we're not prepared for that, but we have to do it. So it's like
that's not a thing you want to do in a Mania kind of commentary. Yeah. And then the question is, should we just do our homework for this show, spin it beforehand, watch and prepare for it? But the whole idea for this was to do something laid back and just answer questions while we have a movie on in the background, basically. Like, I mean, and respond to it, maybe do some riffing, that kind of thing. Just what Mania was. On the other hand, Noah says viewer poll is the way to go. I don't hate that necessarily.
Like maybe the people like know, so I don't know.
But like, how would movies get on the poll? Would would we have people choose selected by Super Chat, or just like everything people say that night we put it on a list? Like, I don't know exactly how that would work, but it's something of a moot point at the moment, because again, I don't know how often we're gonna do this show, and very shortly, or at least in the not too distant future, DJ and I actually have a plan for some Tuesdays that will not be this. So I don't know how often this is even gonna come up.
I love it when you tease things that no one knows with me. It makes me feel in the loop.
I wasn't thinking about that until just now, but I just was flashing back to a conversation you and I had this morning, DJ.
Yeah, I was wondering about
this. This is suddenly not going to matter. It's because I'm thinking about this show right now. This is suddenly not going to matter here in a few weeks. For the foreseeable future, once we get to that, and that will be probably most Tuesdays. But you guys will be happy about that, about what we're talking about. And DJ, I think we should just get on that and do that pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm down.
If you're cool with it, anyway.
I want to make a cool design for it. I'm looking into it, so
okay,
we'll see.
So we're gonna be at your mercy for design stuff before we can actually do it.
We could start whenever. I can always add the thumbnail later.
DJ needs it to look a certain way before he'll allow me to start a show. Is what I'm finding.
Oh, you make me sound like such a pompous jerk face to work with.
No, not at all. What it really is that you care a great deal more about professionalism than I do, and it helps. It really does. It's been wonderful for the channel.
I'm not the reason for Rewind. Don't put that on me.
No, that's no.
People will start blaming me for Rewind.
Oh no,
it's DJ's fault.
No. That is not what I'm. No, Rewind is all my fault. Rewind is my fault, and YouTube's copyright nonsense.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And such.
Showgirls is coming up a lot in the chat. I gotta say, that was one of my picks when we ended up doing Flubber.
So. Okay, well, I'm not against that. I don't know what that would be like, but Mutali says that I don't deserve DJ. That is absolutely true.
No.
Truer words were never spoken.
I mean, we both just watched Clockstoppers for an hour and a half. We both deserve each other.
Dude, you had the power to stop that from happening, and And in my defense, I had no idea it was going to be like that. I mean, we might as well have watched Underdog. Like,
I would have enjoyed that more.
And then Bag says that we don't deserve DJ. And now everybody's telling us not to watch Showgirls.
Yeah, I see that. I have not seen it. I watched the infamous helicopter sex scene in the pool with my wife a few weeks ago.
Well, that sounds romantic. I love that you just watched a scene. You're like, what should we do this evening, honey? Let's watch this movie. Let's just watch this one scene from a movie. Okay.
No, it was that night before After Dark when I was trying to pick movies. I was like, what am I going to pick? And I was like, oh, I'll pick Showgirls because it's on HBO Max. So I was just like skimming through trying to find stuff. She's like, what's that? I was like, you haven't heard of the helicopter sex scene in the pool? She was like, what? Watch it. And we just watched it. It's exactly what it sounds like. I do not have a pool, Mutali.
That'd be like if somebody noticed Total Recall. Like, what's Total Recall? Oh, let's watch the one nude scene in Total Recall. Be like that.
Fuzz Bucket was also one of my picks that night too. So.
Oh yeah, what was that? I don't even remember.
It's like an old like 80s Disney.
Tom puts another $5 super chat. Thanks, buddy. You would also have to be careful. It's not an After Dark movie. Yeah, I mean, we can watch. Yeah, it can get difficult if there's things that come up that we would really only want to talk about on After Dark, but it doesn't have to be a like family friendly movie for us to watch it here. Like, obviously, at some point, I'll do a commentary on Logan, for instance, which like your kids shouldn't watch, but like I'm gonna keep our side of it as family friendly as we can keep it. Mr. Roboto, $2 super chat. Steel blind review. That's a great idea. That's the only way I want to do that, really. I don't want to have to actually sit through it and take notes and write about it. I've watched it one time, and I would be saying never again. Everybody knows that's not a good movie, if it weren't for the fact that I'll eventually have to do a rewind. But there will be amusing things to say about that, so...
Yeah. And we can maybe talk about doing more commentaries on After Dark. We really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Even though it was two terrible movies that we did both times.
Well, and that ends up being exactly what we're doing here, except, like, all bets are off and we can say whatever we want to. Like, there would have been swearing watching this movie if we'd been allowed, most assuredly.
Yeah, we can put some movies there that would foster more conversations.
Utale, you still have it in the Suicide Squad commentary. I'm way behind on superhero commentaries. A lot of that is I was doing a lot of them with Eric, and he's not been available. And I may start at some point doing more of that kind of thing on my own, but I don't love that. I'd rather have a co-host. And so, DJ's only got so much time in his day, and I don't know if DJ will want to have to do everything I'm going to eventually have to do. So, I may have to find somebody else for certain things. Yep. Well, and also there might just be some movies where you're like, I don't want to have to talk about that. Like,
I've never seen Suicide Squad, so I would not be
I'm stuck having to do that. Yeah. Well, but you can always watch it once and then come on with me.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an expert, On a thing like that, you just have to have seen it. I'm sure you'll have opinions. All I need is somebody with a somewhat working knowledge of movies and superhero stuff, but not even necessarily that. I would do a Suicide Squad commentary with somebody like Brandon. Like, he's seen some movies. Like, he doesn't know a lot about superheroes, but he would have to. I just need somebody with that is opinionated enough and articulate enough that they have things to bring to the table in discussing a movie. That's it. There's not a lot of a prerequisite. It just needs to be a good dynamic that I have with that person, and they have opinions, and they don't spend the whole time going, I don't know. Like, that's really the main thing, is just, you need an opinion, you need to be kind of thoughtful, you need to use your brain a little bit. That's,
I don't know. I don't think I did any of that here tonight, so.
Well, sometimes the material makes it so that it's completely warranted to just point and go,
Oh, man.
Anyway, well, guys, we need to go ahead and get going. Thanks.
Founder commentary.
Ooh, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. All right, well, folks, we're gonna go ahead and get going. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as was humanly possible. Thursday night, we're going to do a Captain Logan show. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want us to talk about. We'll hit some recent news things. There may be some kind of a theme to that show, but it will probably be pretty loosey-goosey. We'll just see what kinds of news and stuff comes up in the next couple of days. And I like to kind of, play that by ear. And then I've got a request coming out tomorrow on some comics, so look forward to that. And we will reveal the thing that we were cryptic about soon. I won't tell you when, because I want to have a sense of when we're actually starting it, because we'll just get inundated with, okay, when are you doing it? So, like, I don't want to announce it yet.
We got a super chat real quick from TH1, says, I can't wait for you to watch Silverhawk.
Yeah, and we should probably do that on something like this. That might be a blend commentary kind of commentary. Mutale DC fandom next week. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. We're going to cover that potentially in a couple of places, because I know so Dan's and I were supposed to do a Batmosphere this last weekend, and he got busy and wasn't able to make it. So we are going to try to do one right after fandom and cover Batman stuff, depending on what comes out in fandom. So we may end up doing two shows on that, because I'm sure we'll discuss other things from fandom in the Captain Logan show, or if Dan's and I aren't able to meet for Batmosphere, we'll just cover it all there. But we will suddenly have probably a litany of things to discuss as soon as that comes out. So anyway, Patter's Power says DC Comics theme. Not until fandom though, because that's all we'll be talking about when that comes out. So I wouldn't do that on Thursday. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll see you guys later. I hope you had a good time. We did relatively. We did our best, and we'll see you again soon. I'm Captain Logan, and that is DJ Martinez. Later, folks.
Guys. I was gonna say like catchphrase for Clockstoppers, but I don't even think they had one.
Was there a catchphrase?
I don't think so.
Let's not make any more of these. No, no sequel. Thanks.
We're not getting a sequel to this.
Frakes, maybe choose more wisely. Oh, somebody just left a super chat just as I was about to hit the end stream button.
Oh,
DJ.
right under the wire there, Mr. Draco.
Really
Aries.
under the wire, because I mean, like, my finger was on the pulse. Excuse me, the button.
and he says greetings. Right as we're leaving. Greetings.
You can tell we were about to stop.
Well, I'm so glad he got this in, because I would have felt terrible if we missed
Me
this.
too,
because
that's not a name I recognize. So
yeah, he says greetings.
Welcome, thanks for being
been
here.
a viewer of this channel for years now. I thought Clockstoppers was a great film when I was younger. Now as an adult, not so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just interesting what your perspective's like when you're younger, and relative to other things that have come out, you know, because, like, it's impossible to tell how much of that is, well, you know, we've had another, you know, almost 20 years of you know, movies and various kinds of entertainment since then, and you know, your standards are different, your expectations are different,
and you haven't seen anything that this is ripping off or anything that this is inspired by. You're seeing all that iconography for the first time. It's like, it seems a lot cooler than it is.
Yeah, and naturally, you're not going to recognize how formulaic and uninspired something is if you've not seen all the inspired and non-formulaic stuff. When you're young, anyway.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you'll look at a thing that's, even if it's the first thing you've ever seen, and think that it's super creative, but like, once you get well read or well watched, that's when you tend to, you know, you start to notice patterns, and that kind of thing irritates you a lot more than it would otherwise.
Yeah, it's all about your perspective, and believe it or not, there are people that see The Matrix and think it's not original at all and ripping off stuff. There are people that see Star Wars and think that same thing, but it's just like what they grew up with. And
well, that's true, right? That happens in reverse too, where it's hard to have historical perspective when you see all the stuff that was influenced and inspired by a thing that you then go back, you go, well, I've seen this before. Well, yeah, because it was made 20 years ago and everything's done it now. You know, how dare this movie set a mold and then retroactively be a thing I've seen?
Yeah, Matrix, ugh. Give me Clockstoppers. I don't want to see that.
Well, anyway.
What else did you reference? There's a bunch of Matrix things you referenced on this commentary.
I did, yeah. Well, and I tend to do that a lot anyway, especially with movies right around this time, you know, naturally. Okay, we got to get going. Thanks again, folks. I'm going to press the button right now. Bye, everybody.